however, we will not be talking about knitwear. We will be talking about vintage or vintage styled dressing. I have collected vintage ever since I was a teenager. I absolutely love old pieces and old clothing. I have a vintage shop on Etsy and I used to have one in Oslo. But I do not wear my really old vintage pieces on a daily basis. I have a practical job. As many of you probably know, I hand dye yarn and I design knitting patterns, and especially when I hand dye yarn, I do not wear any of my original pieces because I love them and they do not have forever left. So I have some reproduction pieces, I have modern pieces that have a vintage styled look or aesthetic, and just a mix of many different things. I have never been one to only dress to set rules or to only dress in specific styles or specific things. I love mixing what I like, and that is, while it has a certain set aesthetic that I have loved for many years, it also changes, and I suddenly like stuff I probably wouldn't have bought a couple of years ago, and vice versa. So it's more about wearing things that I love and not so much wearing things that are correct. Or one thing that I both read and hear relatively often, too often I think, are sentiments along the lines of, I wish I could dress like that, but I don't know how, or I don't think it would suit me. I don't know where you get your stuff, where you get your clothing, and basically, if not comments saying they can't, then comments asking how. And so I can't do anything about the first point, but I can try to help with the second. So if you are looking, or you want to maybe start dressing more vintage-esque, or maybe you already do, but you want some inspiration, then I have, maybe I have something for you. I have collected or pulled out some capsule pieces from my wardrobe that are super basic. You could get, I'm not saying you need to get this exact thing, but I've pulled out pieces that you can easily find similar items of secondhand, vintage, or just modern, with the right cut and look, to create a capsule wardrobe. And it's great, these pieces would be great just to start with. Maybe pick them up when you find them, you don't have to get all of them, and then just slowly start collecting, and you can add in things in colours and cuts that you like as well to make it your own wardrobe. But capsule garments are a great way to start if you would like to get into a certain style or aesthetic, but you're not really sure how. Let's dive in. First up, and the most basic and so easy to wear and style, is a shirt. Basically just a shirt or a blouse. Cream is wonderful for every wardrobe. It will fit any colour, any undergarment, any dress, just works with everything. So I would, if I had to pick one capsule thing, go for a really classy white shirt with a collar that you like, with a sleeve set in that you like, maybe they're drop shoulder, maybe you like them puffed, short, long. So easy to adjust depending on what you like, and this is probably the easiest garment to find in regards to, you can get gorgeous silk shirts, modern, cotton, modern ones, you can get lovely second-hand ones, you can get original vintage ones. This one is from the 60s, I've had this for a good 10 years and I wear this so much. This is one of those pieces that I'm not too careful with, just because it's so practical, and while I do take care of my vintage clothing, especially the old stuff, clothing are meant to be worn, so balance there. I wear this so much. So this is the first item I would recommend, a vintage or modern or secondhand, very classic cream shirt. Continuing on the bodice portion of this section, we have a lace blouse. Lace blouses are popular. every few seasons. You will find them in normal high street shops, usually during the summer months. This one I got 2 or 3 years ago, I think. I can't remember where. I don't know what this label is. NLY Trend, probably ASOS or Zalando. And it's a cotton lace blouse with a square neckline, which is my favourite. But it's clearly modern because it has elastics in the sleeves and at the waist. But it has that lovely gauzy cotton with white embroidery that gives it that perfect Edwardian-esque look. So seeing as you can get these in normal high street shops every few seasons, I think this is a very simple way to get a romantic and vintage-esque garment into your wardrobe. And again, you can wear it with jeans or literally anything you want. I have several beautiful original Edwardian pieces, but I reserve those for when I really, really want to wear them, so that I don't ruin them. Third on my recommendation list of basic capsule garments to start your vintage wardrobe is a simple dress. It can be, again, modern or secondhand or vintage or whatever you want. This is a modern piece. This is by Heartsandfound, which is a wonderful seamstress on Etsy who has beautiful garments made after vintage cuts. I have this dress in 3 colours because I'm obsessed, and this is such a great piece to layer or wear on its own. For your basic capsule wardrobe dress, I would recommend one with small straps, spaghetti straps, or slightly thicker but still flat ones, just because that makes the garment a lot easier to layer with other things, such as under a cardigan or over a blouse. So that's my recommendation for a capsule dress. Any pattern, you can have any print on it, any colour. These are just great regardless. Number 4, we are moving on to the bottom half of our bodies, and we are looking at a skirt. I would get a simple either circle skirt or A-line skirt, or if you prefer a pencil skirt, I like one with a bit more flow. I think they're a bit more versatile for both dressing up and dressing casually. A lovely dove grey circle skirt that I thrifted a couple of weekends ago. I'm not sure where it's from or when it's from. This is just one of those classic pieces that's quite timeless and could be from many different eras. It's definitely from after the 80s though. It's knee length and a bit below knee length, which I prefer, but length is completely optional, depending on what you like. But get one in a print that you feel like you can wear both casually and also when you dress up, to give yourself more options to create outfits for your capsule skirt. Number 5. I would recommend everyone who wants to dress with a vintage aesthetic to get a pair of high-waisted trousers. You cannot go wrong with them. They are so comfortable to wear and they suit any occasion, basically. These are my 1980s wool trousers. I absolutely love them. They are my favourite. When looking for trousers in vintage shops, I know it can be really hard to find your size and to know what they're going to look like, because you might think, oh, these might look vintagey, and you try them on and they're rubbish. So if my 2 cents when looking at trousers, shopping secondhand, or even if you get modern ones but that kind of look vintage, look if they have pleats or gathers. When they do, they will fall beautifully. This one has 2 on each front and 2 on each back. These will make the trousers fall really beautifully over your hips and give them that drapey vintage look that you just don't get with many modern trousers, even though they emulate that style. I have one pair of modern trousers that I like, and the rest are all vintage. I'm so picky with trousers. They just don't fall the right way, and they never have. They're so seldom cut the right way, and these pleats or gathers really make them fall the way you want vintage trousers to fall. I have a pair of 40s trousers that are the ones I've had for the longest in my life. I love them, but they've come on hard times. They've been through a lot of wear, and so I try to rotate them quite a bit. But trousers from the 80s and also the early 90s are great for that older vintage look. Just depends how you style them. What you want is that baggy but not oversized look with that beautiful drape that goes down the leg. Our last two capsule garments are knitwear, because I live in Norway. I don't know where you live, but we do need to stay warm for a lot of the year, and knitwear is perfect for that. So I have picked out one cardigan. This is my Minerva cardigan. Knitwear is so lovely for creating vintage looks, and a fitted cardigan is mwah. It will do for any style of trouser, dress or skirt you wear, regardless of what era they're from or what they look like. Obviously this is hand knit by me, this is my pattern. You can also buy them reproduction. I know Emmy of Sweden have beautiful cardigans that are machine knit, but they're still gorgeous. They have that fitted, beautiful fitted look. They have great size inclusivity. And then of course you can always try thrifting knitwear, although this style of knitwear with a fitted sort of 30s, 40s look is very popular, and if you manage to snag an actual vintage piece from that era, you are very lucky. They are very much in demand. So number 6, in a cardigan, fitted cardigan. In my preference, could be any silhouette. And then lastly, an oversized jumper or sweater. This is my sugar plum jumper, which I have knit in Pickles Cozy, which is this lovely blow yarn. This doesn't really have a specifically vintage look, maybe like a kind of 60s vibe, but it's quite timeless, as a lot of oversized knits are, unless you go for very distinctive 80s mohair style garments, of course. That's what's so great with oversized knits, especially if they're in a neutral colour such as cream or grey, brown, black for that matter, just the basic colours. They look so timeless, you can style them with anything. What I really feel like I'm missing in my vintage aesthetic wardrobe is an oversized Aran jumper, and that will definitely be on my design list for the near future, I am thinking, because they just look gorgeous worn with vintage looking clothing. This could again be worn with all of these things. Two accessory pieces that can help would be a beret. Berets can be hard to wear if you're not used to wearing hats. They just take some practice, and if you're going out and about your day, put some pins in it to make sure it stays where you want it. But they really do. I suddenly look very, even more vintagey, because this is not a vintage top. And so suddenly now I could be at a French bakery, not smoking a cigarette, because that is not cool. But berets are a great accessory if you want to vintage up your look. Then have a leather belt. Get yourself a really nice leather belt. This one is vintage, no idea where it's from. I absolutely love it. Get genuine leather because they last, and the rubbish that you get in H&M, they don't. And also they just look so nice when they're a bit worn. So definitely on my recommendation list is a nice brown vintage leather belt. If you don't wear brown, get black. Although I am of the personal opinion that black and brown is absolutely gorgeous worn together. So I would definitely wear this over black trousers or a black turtleneck. Let's talk shoes real quick. So for summer, or when it's warm enough, depends on where you live, it's summer in Norway at least, I have these, and T-strap shoes create such a beautiful foot. They are super romantic looking, and they also give you that lovely vintage vibe. These are from Charlie Stone. These are modern shoes and they are so comfortable to wear. My shoes are so worn. I'm the type of person who takes my shoes to the cobblers 8 times until they are pronounced dead by an expert. And I've always done this. I was the teenager who went to the cobblers. So excuse my very worn shoes. Brogues or Oxfords are so nice to finish off a vintage looking outfit, or even to make a vintage looking outfit if you are wearing a completely modern look on the rest of your outfit. These are my super basic brogues from, I'm not sure whether from the label is rubbed off. So I also have a pair in black that I wear a lot, and brogues are my go-to shoe for any, as long as the weather's good and it's not too warm outside or it's not snowy outside, I will wear brogues. Let's talk late autumn winter boots. These are my absolute favourite boots. These are not lined. I have some fur-lined or some sheepskin lined ones that I use when it's very cold outside, and then the same style. I love knee-high boots. I've always loved knee-high boots, but they are not for everyone. I get it. I also have a pair that goes to about here, bootlets, in this colour, and they would also be great. They're basically just brogues that are higher, so a mix between brogues and boots. But a good boot will, especially just anything with lacing, if we are simplifying it, anything with lacing will make your outfit look really lovely and vintage-esque. Let's have a look at some of the combinations that these items can make. in order to have a vintage looking aesthetic. So with that in mind, I would highly encourage anyone who wants to dress in a more vintage fashion, or any style for that matter, to go for it and to just start start small. Don't expect to have a fully curated wardrobe in a week. It's not going to happen, I'm sorry to tell you. Remember that when you are looking at browsing Instagram and there are people whose wardrobes you admire, that they have most likely curated them over many years. I've been collecting vintage for a good 13, 14 years now probably, and I still don't have all the things that I would dream that I had, and that's fine, it's part of the hunt. But it's hard to remember sometimes when you're on social media and everyone's wardrobes are just perfect. So yeah, just bear it in mind. Your time will come for the garment you are dreaming of. And take it one item at a time. First, go out looking for whether it's a skirt or a shirt or a lacy blouse that you are really longing to have. Take it one item at a time, don't rush it, and start incorporating these things into the wardrobe that you already have, which will also work so well with these items. That's the whole point. You can wear them with so many other styles apart from the style that I'm showing you. So that's that. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you next time.